Good morning, everyone, and welcome once again to our JBDC Virtual Biz Zone. My name is Sansia Campbell from the Corporate Communications Department, and it's my pleasure to welcome you this morning after a long curfewed holiday weekend. I hope that you had a great weekend. I hope that it was filled with rest and relaxation. After all, that's all we could have done anyway. And I also hope that you are staying away from this dreaded corona disease. Um, Make sure you do the right things, wear your mask, wash your hands, socially distance, all the things that you know will work, will help you to stay safe and healthy and be there for your family. As I said, I want to thank you for joining us again this morning. As you know, we have been doing these sessions since April of this year, and we have covered several topic areas, including marketing, research, the customer journey, design thinking. And this morning, we are going to be looking at a very, very important part of the business journey, and that is business registration. As you know, the Companies Office of Jamaica is the organization, the government's organization that is mandated to assist with business registration in Jamaica. And like all organizations have had to do, they've had to make some changes to their operations to facilitate, to ensure that their staff is safe, the members of the public is safe coming in to get their businesses registered. Now, of course, like many of the organizations, they have reduced hours, and so online has become the most efficient way to ensure that your business is registered. And so we have with us this morning Mr. Kawain Fearon, and he is the Public Relations Officer at the Companies Office of Jamaica. And he's going to be speaking to us about understanding the online business registration process. Before he begins, though, I want to remind you that the session is being recorded, and as such, it will be available on the JBDC's YouTube channel. Our handle is at JBDC Jamaica, and you can always feel free to subscribe so that you'll be notified when the video is posted. Of course, we will facilitate questions and answers during this session. If you have a question and you don't want to forget, feel free to drop it in the chat, and it will be facilitated at the end of the session. So sit back, enjoy, feel free to ask any questions. Mr. Fearon is here to ensure that you know exactly what to do to get your businesses registered. So it's over to you, Mr. Fearon.
Oh, sorry. All right, thanks. Thank you. All right. As Santia said, I mean, it's a new time, and we have to find convenient ways to facilitate registration. And a part of that is something that we launched in August 2019. So it has been 1 year, well, more than 1 year since the launch of the online registration platform. We call it the electronic business registration platform, and our tagline is save time, go online. Right. So about the Companies Office of Jamaica, we're an executive agency which originally formed part of the Registrar General's Department. It was established as a separate department in 1975 under the then Ministry of Marketing and Commerce, now the Ministry of Industry, Commerce. I don't think we're agriculture and fisheries anymore. All right. Our main responsibility is to register two types of entities in Jamaica, and that's companies and business name. Right. We operate from two locations at 1 Grenada Way in Kingston and at 10 Delisa Drive at the Office of the Prime Minister in Montego Bay. Right. What is the EBRF? The EBRF, the Electronic Business Registration Form, is an online platform which seeks to facilitate business registration in a convenient manner by providing 24/7 access. from anywhere in the world. The project supports the government's priority to offer services designed around client need by making them more accessible and encouraging investment by creating more efficient processes, right? And it's important to note that even before the EBRF, we were ranked, Jamaica was ranked number 6 on the ease of starting a business index on the work for the World Bank doing business report, right? So we are hoping that with this platform that we can improve on that ranking. Right? Why use the electronic business registration form? One, it's convenient. It can be accessed from anywhere and anytime. Information is in soft copy. So we, at the Companies Office of Jamaica, sometimes we have a hard time trying to decipher what persons have written on the form, right? There is less error because the form is intuitive, which means that it prompts you at certain parts. If you input something that is incorrect, then it won't validate, right? So at the point where you are submitting the form, it's pretty much an acceptable form. Our processing time is shorter, and this is in comparison to a manual check, right? A manual check may take anywhere from about 20 minutes trying to, between deciphering, handwriting, and looking for the documents and all of that. With the online system, everything is in soft copy. So we are just going through to check to ensure that everything that you ought to submit is submitted, right? And that can take us anywhere from 1 minute to 2 minutes. So you see the time difference, right? So we encourage persons to really use the EBRF. What will you need? You will need a computer, a scanner, or you can, if you have a phone, then you can basically just take pictures of the documents that you would need to upload and internet access, right? Those are the 3 things you need. All right, so for the EBRF, we register business name and company name, right? The business name, we register sole trader, partnerships, and corporate sole proprietorship, right? As well as company name. So those are the entities which we facilitate registration online. All right, the process, right? From start to end, you go to our website, www.orcjamaica.com, select online registration, then register new tab, right? However, before you can go ahead and register, you must create a subscriber account, right? You must reserve a name and wait for approval. Approval takes usually 2 days, up to 2 days, right? Upon approval, you may complete the registration form, upload the required documents, validate the form, sign the form using a secret code sent via email, and we look at that, and make payment and submit the application for review. Once the application is submitted for review and it's accepted, then we generate a certificate, right? So before, all the documents that you will need to ensure that once you start the process, you don't have to pause it and maybe return another day with those documents. So you just put all your documents together, and we have a government issued ID, right? And that can be your driver's license, electoral ID, or passport, right? TRN, proof of address, in the form of your driver's license, electoral ID, a utility bill, a bank statement, right? If you have none of those, then we do have a voluntary declaration form, which you can access from our website. And the form, basically, you have a JP complete the form to say this is where you are residing, right? And then you can upload it to the system. Proof of certification, for example, hairdressers, electricians, doctors, engineer, pharmacists, are those areas that require persons to have a license in order to operate. Those persons would need to present their proof of certification, right? You would also need proof that you have the right to work, if you are not a Jamaican or a non-CARICOM national, right? And that would be in the form of a work permit or unconditional landing status stamped in your passport, right? Okay, so when we talk about the business activity summary, right? That is where you would complete it on the while you are reserving the name, right? And a lot of persons tend to get confused as to what should I put there. Some persons will put something long, right? But we just need the main idea of what it is that you are setting out to do, right? So if it is that you are test clothing company, clothing store, then you would just put sale of clothes and accessories, right? That would be it. So you don't need to tell us that okay, you're going to sell ring, you're going to sell clothes, you're going to sell pants, all of those things. We're just looking for a very concise and specific nature of what your business will be doing. All right, so to create a subscriber account, as I said, that is what you would need before you really start the process of reserving the name and registration. All right, so you go to registration tab, then you click go to service. You have to click on go to service because clicking on the picture does not work, right? So you have to look just below the picture. There is this go to service line that you would click on. And once you click on it, then you can go there and create an account, right? It's important to note that the email address that you're using must have been previously used to create an account, right? If it is that you're trying to recreate an account using the same email address, you will see something that comes up, uh, something that says unique. Your email address is not unique, right? That's what it means, right? So reserving the name, right? Reserving the name is a twofold process because once you go on the system, then and you put in a name, right? It will tell you that the name is available for registration, right? So you can go ahead, register, check the system, do a name check, and you will see if the name is already used, right? If it says available for registration, then you can go ahead and submit it. However, the twofold process includes a manual check, right? And a manual check is more detailed, right? So once you submit it, somebody from the Companies Office of Jamaica will go in to do a more detailed check of the name, right? To ensure that it is not the same name as an business that is already registered. It is not too close a name that will cause confusion in the marketplace, whether phonetically or by spelling, right? Uh, you also have the option of selecting a 2 or 30 day reservation, right? If you select 2 days, then the reservation will expire in 2 days. If you select 30 days, then the reservation will expire in 30 days. So we usually advise persons to select the 30 days so as to give yourself more time if it is that you need more time, right? Name reservation is free, of course, there is no charge. So at the end, you will see as a zero balance comes up, right? And some persons will say, but it's not charging me anything, so it's not working, right? The reservation of the name is completely free, right? And as you see on my screen, you will see the reservation menu, which you would go to our website, click on the business name reservation icon, and follow in the instructions, right? And you can select the 2 or 30 days. You will put in your 3 names. I usually advise persons when you are registering a business to come with at least 3 names, because the name that you have in mind may just be taken or just maybe close to an already existing name, right? So I advise persons to come with 3 names: one you love, one you like, one you can live with, right? And they must be unique enough in order to be reserved, right? What if it is that your reservation, you have made a reservation, it is checked manually by one of our examiners, and it is deemed too close or the same, right? You will be notified via a letter detailing the reason for rejection, right? You can make the necessary corrections and resubmit the application, or you can just cancel the application, right? And some of the reasons for rejection is, as I said, name is too close. The name is unsuitable. So it may be considered unsuitable because it may be vulgar in nature. And persons do not submit proof of certification. So somebody may apply to say that they are registering a hairdressing salon, right? But they have not uploaded the proof of certification that they can indeed do here, right? So we would need a proof of certification in order to say, okay, we can reserve this name. So if it is not uploaded, then most likely it will be rejected. Right? Signing the form, right? So after you have registered your business name, uh, you have registered your business name, you have gone through the process, uh, ensuring that all the information is correct, uh, and it now requires you to sign the form, right? And we use a system which is called checkbox signing, which is just basically clicking a box, right? And a tick will come up. That is it, right? But further to the checkbox signing is that once you click that, then a secret code will be sent to your email address, right? We usually ask persons to copy and paste the secret code that is sent into the into the field that is provided, because in typing out the code, sometimes you may use a common letter instead of a capital letter, right? And that will throw it out. And then if you enter in an incorrect code, what will happen is that it will time out, right? So it will ask you to, it will resend. You can resend the code, and then you can copy and paste it. But if it is incorrect, then it will say, okay, try back in maybe 5 minutes, right? And the more you enter an incorrect code, then the time frame in which you will have to try back will increase, right? And it's important to note that the email address that you're using for the signing must be the email address that you're using for the application. So you can't use Fearon Kawain at gmail.com for the signing, but use kawinferron at gmail.com for the signature part, right? It will not go through. So the same email address that you're using for the subscriber account is the same email address you would have to use for the signing, right? And in the case of a partnership, if it is that you have, say, 2 or 3 partners, right? All those partners must have a subscription account in order to sign the form. So you cannot sign the form on their behalf, right? It must be that the person who are partners in the business have their own subscription account, to which a secret code will be sent to them. Sorry, a secret code will be sent to them, and they in turn will give you that secret code for you to enter. That is one way of validating, right, and verifying that these persons are indeed willing participants in the creation of this business name, right? Or what you will get at the end of completing your application, you will receive an email, right? with a receipt that you have paid, right? And upon approval of the document, you will receive a certificate, right, which will indicate that the registration process is complete and you are duly registered by the Companies Office of Jamaica. Okay. Okay. It's online, and most persons may say, okay, I've registered online, but how do I get my certificate, right? At the end of the process, of the registration process, at payment, you'll be asked if you want to pick up the certificate in-house or if you want it to be couriered to where you are. Right? You can select which location you want to collect the document, or if not, you can select the courier option. Type in the address of where you want it to be delivered. Right? There's a separate charge. Around town, I think the charge is about $1,150. I'm not sure what it is for out of town persons, right? But that will be billed separately in addition to the registration of $2,500. Okay, making payment. To make payment, right, for the EBRF, you have two options. You can select the COJ eBank, which really is like a top up, using the same principle as you top up your phone. You can use a Visa, debit, or a credit card to do so. You can also come into our office if you do not have a Visa, debit, or a credit card. You can come into our office, go to the cashier, and tell them that you are here to top up your subscription account. Right? They will generate a receipt, and there will be a receipt. There will be a number on the receipt that once you go back to your subscription account, that you will be able to put in that number and top up the account. You can also pay via Visa, debit card, or a credit card on the system. Right. The application process. It is relatively simple. As I say, it's intuitive, so most of it will prompt you as you go along. So once you have registered, you will realize that on the platform that you can go back in and you can see where your application is, right? So it will be either reviewed or accepted or rejected, right? In addition, if it is accepted, right, or rejected, you will get an email notifying you of the acceptance, right, or rejection. If it is rejected, then there will be the reason. The letter will outline the reasons for rejection, right? And all you have to do is just come in, or no, you don't have to come in. Sorry. All you have to do is go back on the system, make the corrections, upload the relevant documents, and then all you have to do is go back and check out. Right, so there is no paying twice. You don't have to pay twice because if you have paid before, then all you would be doing is just resubmitting the document, right? Okay, some of the common errors that we at Companies Office of Jamaica often see is that persons uploading the wrong supporting documents. So for example, we have seen persons upload pictures of their feet, pictures of family members, documents, assignments that they have been working on. We encourage persons, before you begin, just to create a folder and put all those documents that you will be uploading into it, so that when you are uploading, it's easier to select and to clearly label what they are, to avoid uploading those documents. Because once those documents are uploaded, it will add to them being rejected, right? Because clearly an assignment is not a proof of address, right? Or certification. So we just encourage persons to do that, all right? Not uploading proof of certification. So some person may be a dentist or a electrician, a doctor, but they have not uploaded the proof of certification, right? And inputting a name different than what is on their TRN is also a challenge, because if it is that you your name is Wayne Charles Jr., right? Wayne Charles Jr., right? And you on the TRN is just Wayne Charles, right? When you put in Wayne Charles and you do not put on the junior, or you have varied the spelling of what is on your TRN, then once we go in, because all our systems are linked to the tax administration portal, right? So once we go into verify that TRN, if we see Wayne Charles, right, and not Wayne Charles Jr., then it's a cause for rejection, because we do not know if this is the same person, right? So the TRN must match the, the name on the application. Right? So those, we encourage persons to really go through and to ensure that the names are can be verified. Right? If you require assistance, you have hit a hurdle, because admittedly, our system sometimes goes down. Sometimes the documents that are sent in aren't going through as they should, and we acknowledge that our system, it's still a new system, so we'll constantly add to it. But in the event that persons are having any challenges, then they can contact our tech support at 876-920-1990, or they can send an email at techsupport@orcjamaica.com. You can also contact our customer service at 908-4419-24, or our cost support at orcjamaica.com. Right? The process of registration is really simple, because it is asking for information which you would have already known or worked out in your head, as to what you want your business to do, when you want it to start, your personal information, right? So it's a really simple process, compared to having to fill out the 13-page form that we have and coming in to join a line to submit it to our rep, right? We encourage persons to use the online platform, as it is very easy. You don't have to stand in line. You can do it from anywhere. You can do it even 2 o'clock in the morning if you feel like. So it's really simple. It's a really efficient way to go about doing business, right? So that is the presentation on understanding and using the electronic business registration form. Okay. I'll take any questions that you may have.
Wow, short and sweet, Kawain. Thank you so much for sharing with us. And I'm going to jump right into the questions because these two came in early during your presentation. From Rashawn Smith, this person wants to know, I noticed you didn't mention anything about a limited liability company. Is it that it cannot be created on the website?
Yeah, man. I'd mention it. It can be created on the website. It can be created on the website.
Okay, so is like a button you select for it, or you
Yes.
enter that? Okay.
Yeah, man. Once you go in, you'll see register a company. So you
Okay.
register a business name or a company, and it's a matter of selecting which one you want.
Okay. Okay. All right. So from Nicole Sang, she wants to know, can more than one names be registered at the same time?
If it is that you're using it as a branch name or alternative name, then it can be registered.
Okay. All right. And then from Lisa Calendar, she wants to know, can the online system be used for renewal of registration of existing sole trader businesses?
No, unfortunately not yet. It is something that we hope to build on soon, where
Oh,
we want to roll it out in a sense where, okay, we do the registration, and then what's happening is we are moving on now to the automatic name reservation. So remember, I had said the reservation process was twofold. We want to collapse that into one. So once you get that the name can be registered, it's automatic. So you don't have to wait the 2 days for approval. You can just get the approval immediately and move into the registration. And then following that, we are looking at doing the business name renewal online.
okay.
Persons
I
can
know
come in.
I know that we're focusing on registering the business, registration of business online. But what are
Mhm.
some of the other services that the company's Office of Jamaica is providing now for persons? Of course, I know that registration is the main thing. But what are
Mhm.
some of the supplementary services that they can access online as well?
Okay. All right, so they can register a business name, they can register a company name, and in registering the business name, they can choose to register sole trader, partnership, or corporate sole trader, right? In addition to those, you can make a request for certified copies online, status letters online, and letters of good standing, right?
Okay.
They can also search our website for different entities. So if it is that you want to find out who the directors of maybe a Sagicor bank, you can come to our website and you can pull down all that information to see who the directors are, when they were appointed, and all of those information. So those are some of the pluses to using our online system.
And what about searching for a company name? Say, for example, I want to name my company Moments by Sansia, for
Mhm.
argument's sake. What if I want to search if that name is being used or being used in any variation? Is that something I can look for on your site as well?
Yeah, man, that's something you can come to our site. You can go to search entity tab,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can type in the name, and you will see what companies exist with that name or a name similar to that name, and it will also tell you if it is active or registered.
Okay. All right. What's this person's name? Let me make sure. Claudille Sidial is asking if you could go back to the slide before the documents needed slide. So wherever documents needed is the one before that.
Mhm.
Yes, that's the one. There it
Yeah.
is, Claudille. You can take a look at the information and then type your question if one comes up after that. Cleopatra, as I indicated at the start of the session is being recorded. And so what I would encourage you to do in order to access the slides is that you go to YouTube, click on and search for at JBDC Jamaica, hit the subscription button, and then when the recording becomes available, you'll be able to access the entire presentation. So that way you'll be able to grab any information from it that you needed. All right.
Oh, but
I'm not,
but
go ahead, Kawain.
I remember somebody had asked if they can register a company online. If you look at this slide, you will see reserve a name, register a business name, register a business, register a company.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Another question. How much is it to register a company?
The cost is 24,500.
Okay, and what proof would be
Includes stamp
needed?
duty.
What proof would be needed if I'm trying to register a record label?
it will depend on if the person is registering the record label as a company or a business name.
Yeah,
Right?
that's a question that I'd like to ask. Does it matter what type of business it is in terms of whether it's a record label versus a hairdressing salon, or is it if you're registering it as a business or a company?
I mean, all right. So at companies of Jamaica, we consider them to be two separate entities, entity type. So for the business name, it is considered that you are the business.
Okay.
There is limited liability. So you basically are the business. Whatever the business incur, you also incur, right? In for a company, we look at the company as we treat it as a separate legal person, right? Which can carry on business by itself, right? So it can buy and sell goods. It can enter into contracts on its own, and it's just managed by persons called directors. Right? So when we register, we ask persons because we have a thing where we say, "Oh, we're just doing a business," but then we are not so consider that a business name is different from a company name, right? And so we ask persons to really look at the business that you're doing, right? Look at whether you want to have more obligations or less obligations. Can you use a business name to carry out the functions of a record label? Considering that there are contracts involved, considering that business name is doesn't has unlimited liability, considering that a company has limited liability, right? Those are some of the things, and match it against your personality. Do you want more risk or less risk? So that will help you to determine the vehicle that you use, whether you use a company name or a business name.
Great. Thanks for the clarity on that, Kawain. All right, another question. If I had previously done a name search and had received approval but did not register, do I still have to go through the name search and approval again?
If it is that, for the reservation of the name, right? There were two options: the 2-day or the 30-day. Right? If you are selected the 2-day and it's expired, then you would need to renew the reservation.
So what if
Once
she had selected the 30-day? Once the 30-day pass,
if it's expired, you have to start over.
Okay, fabulous. All right, any more information you want to share with us this morning, Mr. Fearon?
I am just encouraging persons to use the online. It's a lot easier. It's a lot easier. As I said, doing the paper document may take us 20 minutes. Online, it may take us 2 minutes.
Okay.
Right. We have had persons receiving approval within maybe sometimes 30 minutes of submitting, coming in, waiting, and all of that. We also want to encourage persons to ask the banks if they subscribe to the SIP registry, because the SIP registry offers a convenient way in which persons, especially entrepreneurs with non-traditional collaterals, to access loans in which they can use to capitalize their business ventures. So we ask persons to ask the banks about the SIP registry and ask if they can use it to acquire loans. It's a facility that the government put in place, and we fully support it and ask entrepreneurs to utilize it in order to capitalize their business.
Okay, fabulous. All right, a couple more questions. I see a question coming in from Sonia Evans. How do you open a COJ e-bank account?
Okay, you would go to
Kawain?
let me go back.
Okay.
So the payment So once you do a subscription, once you do a subscription account, right, and you want to top up, then you just come in. You can use Visa debit or a credit card to top up the account, right? If you don't have a Visa debit, you can come into our office and go to the cashier and let them know that you want to top up your subscription account. They will provide you with a receipt with a number that you would put in, and your subscription account would be topped up.
But that is something that you'd have to come into the office to do, though.
Yeah, if it is that you don't have a Visa debit or a credit card.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, since we're gonna be operating online, it is advisable that you get a card. It doesn't have to be a credit card. Several of the banks are now offering Visa debit cards. You accept those, right, Kawain?
Yes.
Right. So if you have a Visa debit card, you can easily do the transaction online. So I'm encouraging you to find out if your bank offers a Visa debit and get access to one of those so that you can keep the process completely online. Question from Burchell James: what are the provisions for expediting registration of businesses and companies?
Online, we don't have an.
Go ahead.
Online, we don't have an option to expedite the service because, as I say, it's usually pretty fast. Some persons, if you should walk in, it will take 4 days for a company and 2 days for a business name. If you do it online, sometimes within half an hour, in the day, you'll be getting a confirmation to say that you are registered. Right? If it is that you walk in, there is an expedition fee. For a business name, it is $1,500 for next day service and $3,000 for same day service. And those fees would be in addition to the $2,500. And for companies, the next day is $3,000 as well as the same day $6,000.
So let me ask you, so in using the online portal, it means that you eliminate these costs?
Yes.
Wow. So I mean, it's basic then. What we're gonna do is register our businesses online because it's faster, it's certainly cheaper, and so I mean, as I indicated this morning, what we're promoting today is helping you to understand how the system works. So what I would encourage persons to do is to go onto the Companies Office of Jamaica website when you're finished here. Explore, look at the different tabs that are available and see what you're going to do. Kawain, can you post the COJ's website in the chat so that persons are aware of where, right, of where.
I'll also post a video, a link to a video to show you a walkthrough.
Okay, great. That would be fabulous. So there will be a video that you can use to see the process, walk through with the process. All right. Just to respond to some other questions, persons saying that they experience some difficulties accessing the meetings. As I indicated before, we are unable to provide you with the slides, but I encourage you, go to youtube.com, type in JBDC Jamaica, hit the subscription button. The minute the video is posted, you will be notified and you can watch the presentation from beginning to end. Somebody asked, when will the video be available? I would say by the latest Friday. You can look out for the video.
I'll send you. For you. Okay.
Right. And we have, in addition to the virtual Biz Zone sessions for this morning and for all the sessions from April until now, we have sessions for our In Concert series. We have sessions for our Gift and Craft Biz Zone. We have sessions for our Entrepreneur's Journey. These are all online sessions that we have been doing since April of this year. So there's a whole wealth of information available on the JBDC YouTube page, and you can feel free at any point. You can binge watch. You know what I mean? That all of it is there, and you can go in and view at your leisure. You can share with persons who you know would be interested as well. I want to thank you, Mr. Fearon, for coming on this morning and joining us and sharing this valuable information with our audience. Encourage them once again. I encourage you once again to just go to the Companies Office of Jamaica website. It's
No,
coj.org.jf.
ORC. No, man, ORC Jamaica.
ORC Jamaica. I'm so sorry.
.com.
Scrap that. So it's orcjamaica.com, right?
Yes.
Right. ORC. Let me write it in the chat so that persons are not confused by what I just said a while ago. So it's www.orcjamaica.com, and you can feel free to explore the site. Just to remind you that the Jamaica Business Development Corporation, our offices remain open across the island. You can call us at our head office at 876-928-5161, and it goes up to 5. You can email us at info@jbdc.net. The information will be sent to the correct person once you send an email there. And our website remains www.jbdc.net. In addition to that, we are on every social media platform: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and you can find information about us, about our partners, and about the services that we provide during this very challenging time. So thank you again, Kawain, and to everyone, have a fantastic rest of the day.
Thanks so much.